Good morning, friends. Welcome to Tuesday. I am making coffee right now, and I'm going to edit and upload yesterday's vlog, which wasn't much of a vlog, to be honest, because I forgot to record anything after the first clip. To be honest, I was just too tired. By the end of the night, I was like, okay, I'll record something before bed, but by the end of the night, I'm like, I'm just tired, I want to go to bed, man. And that's what we did. But in any case, this morning I watched a short, because I apparently watch those now, and Stephen Georg, the guy who inspired me to start vlogging in the first place, has been doing like a Q&A thing, and the one that I saw was someone asking him about, like, if he played Magic the Gathering still, because that was like a big part of the early vlogs, and if he still had the framed cards that he got back when he was in college, that like fans would send in. They would like sign Magic cards, and they would also send in like Pokemon cards and even baseball cards and stuff, and send them to him. And he said that like he showed at his parents' house, he still had them. And I don't know, man. Seeing the framed cards on the wall like in a modern video, just like it blew me away with how surprisingly nostalgic it made me feel. Like, I haven't been in the man's life, I can't like say anything about that, but like watching the vlogs from way back then, like also brought me back to a certain point in my life as well. And seeing those framed cards again just brought back a wave of nostalgia, and I'm like, holy crap. And it was kind of in that moment that I realized what makes vlogs so special. Like, even though you may never really get to know the person you're watching, it's cool to see how things progress for them. They kind of like celebrate their victories and things like that, and be like, oh yeah, that's like that. I'm so happy that this is happening in this person's life, and it's kind of like living vicariously, but like just through little snippets. And when you feel nostalgia for something from the earlier videos, you feel it too. Maybe it brings you back to a time in your life, like maybe something in the vlog reminds you of something of your past that you like might have forgotten about, like a fond memory. And I really like that, and it definitely encourages me to vlog more, because I know that even with some of my vlogs from, you know, as far back as like 4 years ago, even 6 years ago, I feel nostalgic. So, yeah. Don't worry guys, I plan on keeping these going unless some greater force stops me, which, as you can tell, has happened before. Greater forces have stopped me from vlogging, and that's why I didn't vlog basically for the entirety of the second half of May and the first half of June. But hopefully I'm here to stay, now that we've settled into our apartment, and I will be sharing coffee with you guys in just a little bit. Now I'm going to stop because my arm is hurting, and I could not bring my tripod with me from Oregon, so I'll see you guys in a little bit. I guess I also shouldn't speak too soon about greater powers stopping me from filming vlogs, because literally last night is an example of me not filming a vlog just because I was tired. So hopefully I'll try to be a little more consistent with that in the future. But either way, I'm here to stay now. Hopefully. I have returned with coffee, so let's share our first sip, shall we? And this is actually my first sip too, so I haven't actually had any yet. Very hot, very, very bitter, but with that subtle hint of sweetness. So in other words, absolutely perfect. Also, I don't know if you can hear in the background, but I'm playing Persona 5 Royal again, and honestly, I was actually tempted to start over, but I'm like, I'm just gonna stick with this. I figure I've gone this far, I might as well see it through. I just got to what many, myself included, consider to be the worst palace in the game, which is Palace number 5, and I won't spoil who it is, even though it doesn't really matter. The character's not very story important, but Palace number 5, considered to be the worst in the game, and Royal made it even worse by making the boss fight significantly harder than it used to be. So, I guess we're gonna see how this goes. I'm going into it kind of knowing how the boss fight works, because I've seen other people do it. I watched Kayla do it back when we lived in Oregon together. So, I have an idea of what it's gonna be like. I'm prepared to die multiple times for like trial and error, or like maybe even running low on time. But we'll see if my sanity holds, I suppose. I played Persona 5 Royal for a bit, and it was fun. Kinda. I mean, I had a good time playing it, I always do. And I'm in the 5th palace now. I officially have the new party member you get from that palace. And I got to the first safe room, and then I proceeded to get stuck. And I'm very surprised I did, but at the same time I'm not that surprised because my brain doesn't work sometimes. So basically I just ran into a locked door and they're like, oh, we gotta find a terminal of some kind to unlock it. I'm like, okay, let me backtrack to the beginning of the dungeon and see if I can find a terminal. So I looked around everywhere that I've already been, couldn't find anything. I had to refight all the enemies because they kept respawning. And I'm like, man, I'm just wasting resources. What the heck am I supposed to do? So I stopped for a little bit. I read an article a friend sent me about an interview with the, I think he's the president of Falcom, and he was talking about the future of the Trails series and what they want to do when the series is over, because they are approaching the end of the series. I think we probably got 1 or 2 games left, probably. But that kind of inspired me to write. That's why I'm wearing my headphones. I'm actually about to plug them into the laptop, probably listen to the Trails of Cold Steel 1 soundtrack, because that's probably my favorite overall soundtrack in the series, and get some writing done. See if I can finish the first draft of Black Crystal Book 5 and get to work editing it, because that'd be exciting. And then maybe I'll start a side project, because something that Kondo, the president of Falcom talked about, is that like the developers at Falcom are just kind of getting burned out on the Trails series because they've been working on it for, you know, the past 20 years. So they're letting the developers kind of work on their own side projects that'll be like new IP to come out when the Trails series is finally done. So maybe I need to work on side projects to kind of shake off my writer's burnout, or like the Black Crystal burnout, because honestly, I haven't burned out on Black Crystal since I finished the 3rd book, and that's why the 4th book is kind of a flaming pile of garbage. At least in my opinion. Maybe to readers it's okay. I personally don't like it because I just wasn't in the writer's headspace when I was writing it. I was like, here's a story, I don't know, whatever. Bridging some story gaps between books 2 and 3. But yeah. I do feel inspired to write now though, and I actually do feel pretty confident about Black Crystal 5, especially if I go through and edit it to be, you know, a story I can be proud of, a story that I can put out there and say, hey, this is something I enjoyed writing, I hope you enjoy reading it as well. So that's my goal. And then I'll pick Persona 5 up later. I do want to make more progress into the palace, because I always have a hard time getting into the game at this point, but I remember that when this palace is done, the game picks up majorly, I'll get to go through the stuff I like, and then I'll get to see the new content that was added to the Royal version, because I haven't seen it yet. I've seen it secondhand by watching Kayla play, but only bits and pieces, because I used to work graveyard back then, so I'd wake up in the middle of my sleep and I'd see Kayla playing. I'm like, oh, that looks cool, and then I'd fall asleep. So I'm excited to see all the new stuff firsthand. But in the meantime, I'm gonna write. I've finished my creative work for the day, so I'm probably going to unwind and play a game. Heck, maybe I'll play Trails into Reverie today. I did start Persona 5 Royal, of course, and I mentioned that, but then I procrastinated making progress. Maybe I'll make a little bit more, and we'll just see where it goes. I'll just kind of inch my way through Okumura's palace and eventually complete it. But I'm not rushing myself to complete it right this moment. I'm just going to relax, make sure I drink some water because I can hear it in my voice and feel it that I haven't had enough, and just enjoy the rest of the day. I might check in with you guys later, I might not, who knows. I forgot to do so yesterday. I'm hoping to actually be on top of that today, so I might see you guys later. I'm just sitting here waiting for Kayla to get home, and I'm literally standing at the front door. I'm kind of bored. Kayla has since gotten home, and they are playing Persona 3 Reload, and I'm watching. They are not playing at the moment, but I'm still just hanging out. In any case, I think I'm gonna wrap up today. It was a really nice day. I got a lot done. I made some semblance of progress in Persona 5 Royal, and I'm hoping to make more tomorrow, potentially. But with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. You are all wonderful people, and as always, let's do our best tomorrow.